All right, I'm going live. I'm gonna make sure y'all can hear me. Do a little test right quick. Give people some time to come in. Let's see. No, make this better. How it look, G? I'm on live now. I'm just trying to get it set right. Hold on, y'all. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. While I'm doing this, I'm going to say peace, hotep, Islam, alafia. I hope all is well with everyone. All is well over this way. But I'm going to get this tested. There we go. I'm a little hype right now. I've been playing some 90s hip hop, so I'm a little amped right now. I gotta get this so I can read this. Alright. Hold on real quick. Hold on.
Hello everybody. Hope everybody's having a really good evening. And I hope everybody is well and blessed. Happy Saturday. And we will be getting started in a few. Just gonna wait for a couple of you guys to get in. Okay. Alright. We're gonna make sure that everybody starts to come in. Okay.
What you doing?
Just talk.
Alright, y'all. What's going on, family? Trying to give people time to catch up or check in or whatever. Whoever's going to listen, you can always go back and listen. Of course, it's Saturday, 8 o'clock. A little bit past 8 o'clock. You know what time it is, right? I'm trying to personally get back into the habit of doing this. This is something I got to take care of. This is something I got to do. Because it's nurturing for my soul. Everything that I learned, I try to give back. Because there's no benefit to walking around with a full cup of knowledge. Because when that cup is full, I can't get no more, so I gotta pour, which means I gotta share to receive more. That's how that go.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm a little hot, I'm amped. I've been playing 90s hip hop to wake me up. I'm all over the place right now. But yo man, these last couple days have been crazy. I do counseling, by the way, but been dealing with people that's been going through some emotional situations and relationship. Matter of fact, I've been having my own emotional things going on outside of relationships and things like that. And emotions, we gotta master the emotions. I'm a moon sign in Cancer, so I definitely gotta master the emotions.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing about that. But tonight we're gonna talk about the love and hate marriage between thoughts and emotions. Thoughts and emotions go hand in hand. You can't separate them.
No.
There's no separating with that. And especially a lot of men, we don't like to admit to the fact that we have to deal with emotions or we are emotional beings. Mm-hmm. Emotions come with the physical body. Matter of fact, out of the 7 bodies, we have an emotional body. We got a physical body, we got an astral body or etheric body, we got an emotional body, we got a mental body. There's some other bodies too, I can't remember right now off the top. But we do have a physical and emotional body. And we do have a mental body that we deal with in the field of metaphysics, right? So you're not going to get away from dealing with emotions. The thing is to always stand on your square and master your circumference.
Right.
And always keep logic at play, because emotion, when you become too emotional about something, you actually throw your logic off. You know, so our thoughts have a profound effect on our emotions. And the emotions that we go through on a daily basis is a reflection of the thoughts that we go through.
Right.
You know, thinking negative all the time it's just not good. It could trap you in your emotions and your feelings, right?
Yes.
And it would totally throw your day off track.
Yeah.
You know, emotions have a chemical reaction within the physical body. You know what I'm saying? Emotion, just like everything else in the universe, is a form of energy. You know what I'm saying? Like I said before, it exists on the etheric body or the emotional body, one of the 7, bodies that we have. We just don't have a physical body.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when we give power to our emotions or power to other people or things outside of us, right, it could turn our whole day or turn our whole world upside down. You know what I'm saying? They could make your day that starts off good turn out to be something very negative or put turmoil in your life. So that's why you have to always master and remember that when you feel yourself getting emotion, there's warning signs to that.
Right.
A lot of times, some people go through heavy breathing. Some people might get a turn in their stomach. People got different. Oh wow, that's throwing me off. People got different things that affect them, right, emotionally, right? So just like think about getting angry or being angry with somebody. Your adrenaline gets to kicking. That's one of the chemical reactions of an emotion inside your body. Thank you for taking it out. Excuse me. But anger, at least is adrenaline.
Yeah, it does.
You know what I'm saying? And like when you come down off that anger, the adrenaline is flowing through your body, and some people feel that sickness in their stomach. You feel that, right?
Right. Some people deal with anger differently. The adrenaline rush is different for some people. It's exhilarating for some people. This is why people love to get angry. I, on the other hand, the reason why I don't like to get angry is because I'm okay while I'm going through the motions and I'm angry and, you got all this adrenaline and it's pumping all through you. Your heart is beating fast and it's almost like being on a ride. And then, when you're going up a ride and it's like, oh, my heart is beating. And when you're coming down, your stomach is feeling sick and your head is hurting. And that's why I don't like to get angry, because when I do it, I overdo it. And it really, it turns into something really bad for me physically later on. So.
Wow. Yeah.
That's why I don't like to lose my temper.
Right. So, and that goes back to like giving power to people and things outside of you. When you give somebody power like that, man, you actually tie spiritual cords and knots with the person. Right. You don't never give nobody power or dominance over you. You're never supposed to let nobody take you off your square. Now, not saying that's an easy task, because we all gonna be tried and tested. I'm saying this is part of life. And you think about it, from the time you get out the bed to the time you get back into bed to go to sleep, throughout your whole 24-hour period, we go through a different swing of emotions. We can go from being happy to being upset to being sad to being angry back to being happy. That's the thing about emotions, man. It'll ping pong back and forth. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it make you happy, sometimes it make you sad. You know what I'm saying? But when you're dealing with emotions of happiness, you're dealing with a euphoria or a sensation. Like, think about the emotion of being in love. The feeling that you got from being in love, man, that's a euphoria that you go through. It's a sensation of...
And it's addictive.
Right, it's addictive, right. To the point where people actually become addicted to the feeling or the addiction, and they actually forget about the person that sparked that feeling in them.
Well, those people usually jump from one person to the next due to the fact of what they'll end up doing is... they like the feeling of the brand new honeymoon. So they'll jump from one person to the next when the feeling starts to get old. Those people have a really hard time. We say that they have problems with commitments, but it's not always about commitment. It's about the feeling,
Right.
And they're just tired and they don't want to go through the motions of going through a bad phase with somebody, so they don't want to work it out. So they'll just move on to the new person.
Right. That's why they say some people in love with the act of falling in love.
Right. People in love with falling in love, and
that's the problem, because to cut your wisdom, but like I was listening to somebody speak recently, he was talking about we got the whole concept where it's called falling in love. Mm-hmm. You shouldn't fall in love, you should stand in love.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That makes sense.
You fall in love, man. When you fall, that's defeat, that's failure.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to stand.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But people got the wrong concept of what love is, because people seem to attach love, the emotion of love, with material things. And remember, KRS-One had a song out back in the 80s or early 90s, right? He was saying love is going to get you.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Remember, we talked about last week, we talked about karma.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And the way you pay your karma is through the things that you desire, through the things that you lust, through the things that you put such an emphasis of your life on. The emphasis of your life on the things that you cherish the most, or the people. you know what I'm saying, that you just so in love with, the people that you just so much desire. That's how you pay your karma. So when he said love is going to get you, that's real talk. That's how love will get you. You know what I'm saying? Because it's still, the thing about the heart, not saying that the heart is bad or the feeling of, I wouldn't say this, so I don't want to throw nobody off. Excuse me. Dealing with the heart, right? When you're dealing with the heart, as great as the, you know, the sensations that come along with the heart are like, if the heart is not guided by a sound logic, the heart will actually set you up down the line.
Because it's not logical, it's emotional.
Right.
Emotion. This
right.
is why I tell everybody. My cousin will. She's probably watching. There is this term because her husband plays football. He coaches football, and I always tell her there's no crying in football. That if you're going to do real life events and real life things, the last thing you need to do is get emotional, because then you're not going to logically think correctly. This is why I tell people with bad tempers, y'all. I have a story to tell. See, he used to have a bad temper. And that's fine, because that's who he is. But I will always tell him, stop and think. And how you're going to channel all of that energy into what's making you angry. If you get emotional about some things and it makes you angry, it can get you in a lot of trouble. He's an Aries. So they're spontaneous. They're here. So I would tell him, listen, you can still keep it here, but take it from here, not from, you know, the top of your head and you got steam coming out of it. Here, think about, because art of war is thought. So don't be so active about how you're going to react to stuff. So, you know, that was a learning process for him. And now he's like, man, I ain't got time to be getting emotional about nothing, because you will get yourself in trouble. Emotional people tend to take their anger and transfer it from one place to the other. Like, you ever see somebody angry at work and go home and they're angry at home? What happens at work and it pisses you off like that, leave it there. Do not bring it home to the family. If you are upset at home, do not take that to work, to school, or wherever you're going. It's going to mess up the dynamic of how you're going to conduct your day.
I've seen people get fired like that. I know a brother, he got fired back in the day because of something that was going on with him and his wife. And he brought that to work and got into a confrontation with another coworker where he physically put hands on him right then and there, fired. Right. And it changed his whole life, because the divorce still went down. Yeah. He lost his job. He lost seeing his kids every day. Lost everything. He had to end up moving out of state. I mean, long story short, he got back on his feet. But the thing is, it probably wouldn't have been that bad if he could have at least controlled his anger at that point from whatever went on in his household. And speaking on me personally, that's how you handle the emotion. That's how you handle the anger. Let me say that. Because sometimes emotions will get the best of you. We're human. You know what I'm saying? But as far as when it comes to like anger, because all the trouble that I've really been in legally has been from me letting somebody upset me to the point where I react out of rage and out of anger. Now, I'm going to take blame for that. That's why I have grown. I'm going to take full blame for that. Because like I said, I'm supposed to master my circumference and stand on my square at all times. I didn't know this back then when I was getting jammed up. You know what I'm saying? But I know it now, and I'm looking at the situation with a wide open third eye. Yo, that was my fault. You never let nobody take you off your A game.
That's the difference between being reactive and proactive.
Right, because it's a cause and effect.
And it's not that I was explaining to him to not be who he was because I wanted him to be like me. I gave him steps that I went through myself. When I was younger, I had an issue with not saying anything about stuff. Then when I got a little older, it got out of control because I was always saying something about something. I was always angry about something, and I was always jumping up ready to hit somebody or fight somebody, you know. So I had to take my steps to try to find an even ground where if something needs to be said, it needs to be said and handled, but there's certain ways in how you say it. I had to learn a balance with that, so I just passed it along to him. That's all. It makes it easier because he doesn't have the headaches, stomach is not bothering him, right. He's not stressed out. You know, it messes with your shoulders, with your back. It really tears you up. A
physical effect on you, and that's the thing about it. Like when you feel yourself, especially when it comes to anger, or that rage, or that fire that's burning in you, right? The thing to recognize first is when it comes to the emotion. the thought, because you know it's your thoughts that trigger emotions in your body. First thing you need to do is recognize if the thoughts that you having are real. In other words, don't let it be something that's in your imagination that's running wild.
Oh, yeah.
Make sure it's something that's actual fact.
The mind is powerful.
Well, because the mind, your mind will play tricks on you. And for a false thought or something that's imaginary that hasn't even manifested here in the physical to play on your mind and get you to react a certain kind of way, it'll throw you off. You know what I'm saying? It'll get you huffing and puffing. So the first thing you got to realize is if the thought is real or if it's fake.
Right.
9 times out of 10, when people get real emotional and want to react out of something, it's probably a false thought. Something that's probably not even true, or something that haven't even manifested yet, because your mind will run wild. They say the mind is the devil's playground, or either mind is the devil's playground. You know what I'm saying? Your mind will trick you. You know what I'm saying? That's why we say we let the heart govern the mind and the mind govern the body. You know what I'm saying? Even though the heart is the seat of the soul, it's taught in Kemetic teaching, the heart is the seat of the soul. You know what I'm saying? You always gotta, and we're talking about dealing with the heart, we talking about love. We're not talking about love from I love you, this and that. We're talking about love from a divine aspect where you have a love for everything and a love for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Love is the final frontier. It is. But they say love is chaos too. Because we talk about this all the time. You find yourself doing things in love that you said that you would never do.
What they said, the song said, what you won't do for love.
Right, what you won't do for love. Because there's plenty of things I said, man, I ain't down for. I wouldn't do.
Actually, you said something that was very pivotal to me. When you were talking about love and intimacy and stuff like that, and how people can get it confused, because you said the heart was the
seat of the soul, right?
Okay, and it's right in the middle of all of the chakras and stuff. So you have your lower self and your higher self here, and this is why intimacy is so confusing to people, especially from women, because we're allowing men to enter our womb. And, you know, it's a delicate place for us. So we are allowing them to enter us, and their energy is on the inside of us, and they give their life force, and it comes right into our vortex, our divine vortex. So we, as women, and we're all adults, know that women will fall in love through sex. Whereas men have a different aspect sometimes. I'm not saying men don't fall in love. And I've seen men fall in love through sex too, but you know, sex is a really serious action. It's a really serious situation that goes on. And
when you're most open.
You really are. And if you are with somebody that is divinely filthy, you are letting this person in, and then men don't understand. They have an outside phallus, so that their phallus is outside and everything on us is inside, but they're still being penetrated by energy. And we're exchanging this energy, and then emotions get crazy. And this is why men are out here, you see a lot of these things, men out here killing these women are getting all messed up, and you know, right, they're killing these men, they're willing to take them from their wives. You see all kind of crazy stuff because sex is going on, and no one has a real understanding of it. It is taught through some religions that sex is just for procreation. That's not true. It's energy. It's emotions. It's mental. It's physical.
It's a balancing tool or a balancing act between masculine and feminine principles. Not even though it's the act between male and female. When I'm talking about masculine and feminine principle, I'm not talking about man and woman. I'm just talking about a principle. I'm talking about a feminine principle as far as being a nurturer. Also a protector. I'm talking about a masculine aspect as far as being a go-getter, willpower, being a protector. You know what I'm saying? It's a balance. It's like me being a man, me being a male, I do have the feminine principle within me. It's just that in the physical, I carry more masculine than that, but it is in me because we have kids in this house. And if she's not around and they need to be nurtured, that's something that automatically turns on in me. Same thing with her. Even though I protect my household, if I'm not here and something needs to be protected or some kind of force of action need to be taken, that's a switch that'll click in her, and believe me, she's gonna go to war to protect them kids or protect the household or herself or whatever. So it's about a balancing act. You know what I'm saying? And A lot of people was getting jammed up back in the day talking about, oh, we in the feminine principle, feminine principle. That wasn't all about, you know, we were saying we was going into the feminine principle or knowledge of feminine principle. We weren't saying like, all right, it's cool for you to go out here and wear a dress. We weren't saying that. A lot of people got that twisted. You know what I mean? We're not saying that everybody's going to turn to all females on the planet. We weren't saying that. What we're saying is you're going to actually become more nurturing. You're going to be more in tune with nature.
More
in tune with yourself.
More in tune with your emotions.
Right.
Because men are taught to not have emotions, and women are taught to be overly emotional. And that causes a lot of mood swings and a lot of problems with women, you know, because we're taught, oh, you're just emotional, you know, and we were taught, we were nurtured from little girls to be overly emotional. It's okay for you to cry, but it's not okay for you to cry, little Johnny. You know, things like that are not good. And I tell people all the time, emotions are good in men. Yeah, you should cry. It hurt, cry. Because if you're holding it in, you're going to explode. Somebody's going to get hurt, or you might hurt yourself. Cry.
Right, to build up and to come out in rage.
Cry.
I mean, you saw, but that's what society then duped us into. You know what I'm saying? We saw, right now, it's a war-driven planet. You know what I'm saying? We think about the history of the earth over the last 400, 500, 600 years. It's really been war-driven.
Yeah, and but you know the masculine energy has taken over. That's why they're saying it's the return of a feminine energy.
Right.
It's not that they've ever went anywhere. It's just that it's time for the feminine energy to pretty much balance things out and cause it to balance out just a bit more. And it's not about only women being in charge. See, I'm not all about that. I'm sorry, feminists. Nothing against you guys. That's what you guys do. I'm not with it. I'm about a balance. I have a son in here. And I don't want it to be an overly feminine place for him. I want him to express that he is a male in here. Am I going to let him come in here and just ram through here like a bull? Absolutely not. We are going to have balance in this house. Right. Because I do have daughters too. And I teach my daughters in their relationships that there is a certain amount of balance that is there. You don't get over emotional as a woman. And another thing I don't allow them to do, that emotions will happen. And we have this society where women are being told, it's okay. Hit a man, but he's not supposed to hit you back. I tell my daughters, I have 5 daughters, 1 son, and I tell all of them, do not hit no man. Because he might ignore it a few times, he might be able to, you know, contain himself, but after a while he's going to lash out physically. Keep your emotions and your hands in check.
Right.
You understand? Because then I'm going to have to get involved, and I'm going to have to check some dude about my daughter.
It's a respect thing.
It really is.
And like I say, thoughts. We're talking about the marriage between your thoughts and your emotions. Thoughts, you know, the thoughts that we have is a reflection of where we at in our conscious, right? And as humans, you know, through emotions, that's how we feel and communicate with other people. Not a bad thing, because like I said, we're doing the human thing. We can't be all spiritual. We stay here in the physical. That's right. And unfortunately, it comes along with these physical bodies, emotions. That's something that we just not going to get out of. Nobody is not going to do that. You're going to find something that's going to make you happy. You're going to find something that's going to make you sad. I'm sorry. No one is exempt from that. No one is exempt for that. Unfortunately, hey, it is what it is. So when men try to get on this, that, oh, women are emotional, we men, this and that, nah, you're emotional too. Especially when it goes back to those childhood traumas and things that happen that's buried in the back of our subconscious mind that plays an effect on our everyday life. Absolutely. The things that we don't like to think about, but the things that we're forced to deal with when we look at ourselves in the mirror.
Especially as adults.
You know what I'm saying? And those past traumas or childhood abuses and failed relationships that still, you know, lurk in the back of our mind.
The mommy issues, the daddy issues.
Yeah, the mommy and daddy issues, man. For real, it is real. It is real. I know people today that's going through relationship issues based off things that went on, childhood, insecurities that was built up then that was never dealt with, that was never nullified, things that was never banished, or just because you push it to the back of your mind or sweep it under the rug, it doesn't mean that the problem's not there. And unfortunately, that's one thing. See, we talk about post-traumatic slave syndrome and what our ancestors went through, a rough and hard slavery. A lot of other nations of people went through things, but they got help. We never received help for what we went through. We were just told just to deal with it. And unfortunately, that transferred over to something that went on in our community that we were told to be hush about, with the things like molestations and the things like rape and things like that. When these things were brought up, we was taught to be hush about it and not say nothing, and it was pushed. You know what I'm saying? But it still doesn't mean that the trauma and the pain and the hurt is not there. Because guess what? It's always gonna pop its ugly head up at some point in time.
Especially when you're trying to be intimate.
Right, and that right, especially when you're trying to be intimate. Excuse me. It's either gonna make somebody sexually aggressive, or to the point where they don't want to have to do with sex at all.
Right, they'll be regressive.
Right. It's a cause and effect to everything. It's a cause and effect to everything. So that's one thing you got to keep them thoughts in check. You know what I'm saying? I said it before. I said you're either gonna be a slave or a master to your thoughts. And you know, it said that a man can't serve two gods. You know what I'm saying? You can't serve two gods. And what I'm talking about is within. You know what I'm saying? Are you gonna be a slave to your thoughts, or are you gonna be the master? You know what I'm saying, of your thoughts? Are you going to master the circumference? Are you going to stand on your square of your thoughts? Don't let them get the best of you. And I'm speaking from personal experience. Now I know better, and actually my persona has changed a lot. I can see a difference on myself. Well, other people see a difference, but the growth, it's a beautiful thing when you can see a growth within yourself.
Right. And everybody should grow. It should be a growth in everybody at every point. We go through stages. Everybody should see a growth within themselves. I have family members that have went through some very rough periods, and I promise you. But what they did was they dealt with their emotions because they talked about it. They faced it. They talked about it, and they found out what was wrong. And you could go to 50 different people. They cannot fix it. It has to be your decision and your actions. They can give you some type of guidance or word of advice, but it's you who take those steps, and it's you who nullify it, fix it, and get it out of the way and get it on track. Because guess what? All things that are emotional aren't bad. That's why I tell everybody, I say, I don't want to change how anybody is. Just how are you going to react to what's going on around you?
Right.
Okay? Like I always told him, there's nothing wrong with your anger. If you have anger, but how are you channeling that?
Because it's energy.
It's energy.
And that's the job of an alchemist. You know what I'm saying? Is to always take one thing and make it something else.
'Cause my home is a sanctuary of peace. I have to have it a certain way at all times. He needs it clean. I need it peaceful. Because the kids can make a mess all they want to. I can clean that up. I need it peaceful. He's the opposite. He's like, get the mess up out the floor, and I'll fix all the other stuff. So that's the balance between me and him.
Right.
You know, I need it peaceful because I don't function well.
Right.
Because my emotions get a little crazy and, you know, start to scatterbrain a little bit. So we deal with it in a way of balancing. So if you're living with somebody, I don't care if it's a spouse or if it's a a partner of some kind. I don't care if it's a roommate. I don't care if it's a family member. Somebody have got to have a balance. Just like at work, you have someone with strengths and someone with weaknesses, and where somebody's strong, the other person needs to pick up and say, well, you know what, I can do that. Let me do that while you take care of this, because I'm not that good at that. And it would be an even exchange, and everybody will be happy. Everybody will be okay.
So in other words, you grab the bull by the horns. You know what I'm saying? And emotions are the first place where, energy will get stagnated in your body. Oh, let's talk about this too. So we're gonna take it to another physical aspect. We all know about the chakras and Kundalini activation.
Well, they might not.
Yes. All right,
Some
so we
people don't
give a
know
little
about it.
thing. So like, Kundalini energy, which is the serpent goddess, is a powerful life force energy that resides in the base tip of the spine. Now, when this energy is activated, this serpent goddess, which is coiled around at 33rd and 1/3 degree, I believe, or 33rd. I'll go back and correct it if I'm wrong. I'll come back on the page and put it right. But I know it's wrapped, coiled around the tip base of the spine. When the Kundalini energy is activated, it starts this process of the awakening and moving up the spine. As it goes through each chakra, from the root to the solar plex, to the root, to the sacral, to the solar plex, to the heart, to the throat, to the brow, the third eye, and to the crown, which is your kingdom of heaven, right? As it goes through each chakra, remember we talked about those past traumas and emotional strifes and things that you had buried in your subconscious mind, or things that was never dealt with or rectified. When that Kundalini hits that chakra, because each chakra has it's a cleansing process, and when it hit that, it might bring out some past emotional hurts that you try to push to your back of the mind, but it's a cleansing process. So a lot of people you'll see in the metaphysical field talk about Kundalini energy, and they'll be like, oh, Kundalini awakening, it's not a beautiful thing all the time. It's not a beautiful thing. And the thing is that when it starts, you have to let it complete itself, because to try to interrupt or stop Kundalini will kill you. It'll physically drop you dead.
Yeah, which is why people are having heart attacks, not the country.
Right.
People are literally having heart attacks because while it's trying to push itself through, it might hit a chakra that is shut down or closed. You have to, if they open and close, that's why they call them lotuses, like flowers, open and close. So they hit one. And, you know, this is why a lot of people are having heart attacks, because they're not dealing with their emotions.
Wow, you know what? A lot of people have heart attacks because of emotional things. Right? A lot of people have migraines when they have a lot of things on their mind. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people that got this built up sexual energy down here, right? The built up sexual energy, when it gets the best of them. You know what I'm saying? You have reproduction issues, especially if you got a blockage right there. You know what I'm saying? But when that Kundalini energy wakes and it hits each chakra, it's not always a good thing. It's very painful. And sometimes we can activate it ourselves through meditation, or a lot of times it's involuntary.
You know, Christianity, they call it the purge. Like, you have to work on it, and they literally are like, they're crying, snotting, vomiting, pooping, peeing, all of that stuff, and all of the stuff is like coming out in different orifices of your body. It's just flying out of you because it's like you're purging it out. So
I went through that. I went through a purge.
Yeah.
I went through a purge. It scared the hell out of me.
Yeah, because you don't know what's wrong. You get chills. You're hot, you're cold. You don't know what's going on.
Vomiting.
Sweating. But you're not hot, and it's really crazy.
Excuse me.
It's crazy.
Yeah, but that's the thing about it. Kundalini energy, as it hit them chakras, it's going to deal with those emotional issues that resonate and correspond to whatever chakra you're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times when you get up here, people who might have trouble communicating. We're talking about the throat chakra. People who might have trouble communicating, it's going to get through. It's going to bust that open and break that down. Because what the thing is, you're supposed to go from hell to heaven. Right. You know what I'm saying?
And then you have people who talk too damn much. So when your Kundalini gets there, it'll shut you down because it'll have you where you like, okay, that was not needed to be said. You didn't need to say that. So you will learn how to speak when the Kundalini arises, because sometimes your chakras are wide open. Because like I said, they need to open and close. They need to open and close. And they don't. Some of them stay open, and then you wonder why. You're like, why the hell they talk so much? That's because their chakra is wide open.
Wow. You know, I was reading, it was one of them Hindu texts, I believe. You know, there's so many of them out there. One of them books dealing with the Hindu, and it was talking about one of the ways that we break the cycle of reincarnation is by the activation of the crown chakra. You know what I'm saying? Or the killing of the ego.
Right. Excuse me?
Or who you think you are, or who you think you're supposed to be, your job title, where you live, how much money I make. That's not the real you. That's the aspect of you that's here in the physical, or here in the illusion of Maya, or the realm of the third dimension. That's not who you really are, because none of this we're not taking when we make our transition from this physical body. So your job, your name, your so-called title that you gave yourself or anybody gave you, none of that matters. You know what I'm saying? But what matters is the only thing you taking with you is your good and bad deeds, your karma. You know what I'm saying? And one way to that they are saying in certain texts that you break that will of reincarnation is by killing the ego. And this is also done with the release of Kundalini energy when it goes to the crown chakra. That's why the attributes of Kundalini energy has been attributed to the Hindu goddess Kali Ma, which is the ego killer.
Right.
Look up Kali. Kali Ma. You know what I'm saying? Kali is a destroyer, the female goddess. You know what I'm saying? She kills the human ego. And remember, ego comes with this body. You know what I'm saying? Right.
You ever notice when people get a little older and their body starts to break down because the body has an expiration date, and they
That's right.
become calmer, and they don't need all of that anger and all of that ego, and that's because that's the same thing what you're saying. The ego is no longer needed when you're older. You don't have to prove yourself. You've already been through everything. You already know what you're doing. You already know where you're going because you already know where you came from. So you older people don't need ego.
Wow, it's funny because you think about it. You think about them cats in their younger day who had the street reputation.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they like that reputation that you had when you was younger. You know what I'm saying? That ego. Like when you get older, we see a lot of cats up in their later years that's still trying to carry themselves with that reputation that they still had when they was younger.
It never works.
It never works. It never works because on so many levels it never works. It's not gonna work. And it actually make you like a fool because you're supposed to elevate, you're supposed to grow. Actually, you're supposed to move out of that phase. Like we go through, like what we say, every 7-year cycles. We got 7-year cycles that we grow or that we evolve.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So a lot of cats try to bring that from the past to where they at today, and it doesn't work.
Fit.
And you know what? And especially when you see an older cat that's still trying to carry himself like he
Dressed like the kid.
20-something, this and that. You look like a clown. You look like a fool. You look like a fool, and guess what? The younger ones, they're not gonna respect you, especially if you out there trying to on some grimy street stuff. It's a whole different game out here. They don't respect that. They didn't know you. All they know is who and what they are. They don't respect that. You know what I'm saying? It happens. Real talk. So the best thing is to be you at that point. But like I say, you shouldn't even be on that if you up in age, man. Let it go, man. Let it go. Let it go.
You never put on a shoe that you wore in 7th grade. I'm just saying.
Right. So,
I know I can't.
nah. You like a fool. You gotta let it go.
Damn
I'm sorry.
shoes
I
too
see it every
small.
day. And that's
Feet hanging over the back.
and that, you know what? And if my brothers and sisters are happen to see this, they always like talking about what I did in the past. Y'all notice when y'all start talking about that, man, I shut down. I don't want no part of that. I changed the subject because whatever I did in the past, that was that in the past. That's not something I could go back and change. Right now is to focus and worry about the now. This is what's more important. A lot of us get caught up in stressing and worrying about what the future has ahead, when your future is a reflection of what you do and take care of right now. Right now is what's more important. You know what I'm saying? So things that happen in the past that can't be done, we learn from it and we grow from it. But if you're the same person in 2017 that you was in 1980,
we have a problem.
We have a problem. You know what I'm saying? Some people be carrying on that second childhood.
We have a problem.
You got a problem. You gotta let that child, not saying that you shouldn't go back and tap into your inner child. I talked about that before because that inner child is a stress release. You know what I'm saying? When you feel like the world is overwhelming. Because that inner child, like when you think about it on a metaphysical level, Eddie Murphy had a movie. What was that movie called, man? It was like every time he would speak, a leaf would come off the tree. And when the last leaf fell, the tree would die. Something like 1,000 words or whatever. But at the end, when the last leaf came off the tree, he physically was about to make his transition. And when he went in and saw the real essence of who he was, he went back to that childhood essence, which is the real you that's inside of you. Like we're all like, of course in the physical we grow and we look older, but at our core, at our soul, at our spirit, we're all children. That inner child is what you have to go back and tap into, because that's the most powerful aspect of who you are. That's why I tell people, when you stress, you worry, things like this, sometimes it's good to go back and do things that you did as a kid to bring you back. Because as a child, that's when you're more closer to the spiritual realm.
You talking about more like activities?
Yeah, activities. Not saying like go back and be a mama's boy or a daddy's girl or nothing like that. What I'm saying is, as a way of tapping into your true essence, a true spirit, or who you are, especially for practitioners or spiritualists, it's good to go back and tap into that inner child here and there, because you got to think about it. As a child and as an adult, the way the scales are balanced, as a child, you're more closer and more in tune with what happens spirit-wise. You know what I'm saying? Until we hit the ages of probably about 5 when we start going to school, and then everybody started telling us, you need to grow up, you need to grow up, stop being a child, you need to grow up. They're actually cutting you off from your power.
Everybody should still be a child of heart.
Right, because you think about a child, the imagination of a child is like one of the most strongest and greatest powers that there could be. If it wasn't for imagination, we probably wouldn't be talking to you all through this phone right now. Imagination is a very strong tool, you know what I'm saying, especially when it comes to spiritual practice. You know what I'm saying, because it's all about the thought, it's all about the intention, it's all about that ashe. You know what I'm saying, because words are power. And your thoughts are words. It's just, you know, circulating in your head. You know?
Even though I grew up in New York, a lot of people don't realize, they think about New York and they think about buildings and concrete. I grew up around grass. We didn't wear shoes. We walked around outside in the grass. I mean, me and my friends, we played outside. We did get fresh air. We went to the beach. We would lay up underneath trees with blankets and stuff. I know you guys don't think New York is like that. So when I go back home, I do get homesick because I'm in Georgia, and I get homesick and I want to go back home. I want to go back to go hang out with my cousin and go hang out with people that I've known when I was a kid, and so I can get back in touch with that, because I did have some pretty good things going on as a child. So I do want to go back to that, and it does keep me going. It keeps me balanced. I even got him, he goes to New York with me. He feels, like, it's a whole different atmosphere where you can get up and go and do other things, and tap into your childhood and do good things from your childhood, not crazy stuff, though.
Right. Well, dealing with emotion, whether positive or negative, especially when it comes to dealing with the negative, I'm going to say, I like speaking on myself. It's easier when I speak on myself to get something across. Because I'm actually coming from the heart on that. One thing I had to learn was to that it made me better and deal with the anger better. Because behind that anger, it was a lot of pain, it was a lot of hurt. It's like you got an exposed nerve and somebody keep tapping at it. As much as it hurt, you're going to react.
Yeah.
In a hostile manner.
And it's possible.
And it's possible. So the thing is, what I had to learn is that behind the anger or frustration that I had, it was a lot of pain and hurt. And one thing I had to learn was how to forgive.
That is so big
man.
In this community. We were brought up through a time, especially in the 80s. I don't know about 60s and all that stuff. I wasn't there. But in the 80s, we were, especially in New York, I don't know about everywhere else. I can tell you about the demographics in New York. We were rough. We were like hard. We was like, we ain't gonna cry. We in the street. We just hard. Everybody just hard. Everybody got stone face. Everybody's just so angry. Yeah. And we holding our own. We taught, this the streets. We gonna survive out here. And we were just taught to just be, eat stone. You don't cry. You're a girl. Don't matter. Don't cry.
Yeah. Toughen up. Yeah. Make you hard.
I get what you're saying about emotions.
Yeah, we gotta learn how to forgive. And the thing is, when you forgive, you're not gonna be always able to forget.
Ain't that the truth?
But learn the lesson from it. Yeah. And Erykah Badu had a song called Bag Lady.
Bag Lady. And she was talking about that, and that's what I was saying about New York. You know what I'm saying? And there's still people that pissed me off when I was 15. I still ain't speaking to them. They get on my nerves. But you know what? You have got to let that stuff go, man. Let it go. That's emotional baggage. Stop being so hard. Your exterior don't need you. You're not made out of stone. You're human. Express your emotions. If somebody makes you mad, if you don't have any attachment to them, that's fine. Still let it go. Right. I have seen people mad for years over something this big. Let it go. Let it go. Because you're holding on to it. It's on your chest.
And it's going to have a physical effect on you. You wonder why so many people dying of heart attacks and their arteries going bad, or they people dying from cancers and things. All these things
those are stagnations.
They stagnations and blockages of energy.
Growth.
That's a part of the emotional stress and turmoil that you're going through. That goes back to the thoughts that's in your head. Think about it. So like if you didn't have the best childhood with either one of your parents, or or it could be your mother, father, whatever. And when you see a picture or somebody mention a name and you think of them, and that you had that thought of whatever that situation was, then you feel a certain kind of way. You know what I'm saying? And then depending on what that emotion is, either you're gonna be angry or you're gonna be hurt or sad. So you might feel something in your stomach. You might feel queasy, or you might be angry and you feel yourself breathing hard.
Yeah.
Find yourself breathing hard. So there are they say there are warning signs to everything. So there's warning signs to when you become emotionally unstable. You just got to be able to catch it and recognize it.
Yeah, but how are they, you know, when you see stuff like that, like you say, you can see a picture of someone that really upset you or hurt you or did something to you in the past. How are you dealing with that? Like, are you just living with it? And I'm going to tell you something else what a lot of us make a mistake with. We want other people to understand what we went through. It's not for them to understand. They might have been the ones that could have been the ones to prevent it. Guess what? They did it. How are you going to deal with it? You can't fix it. You can't stop what happened because it happened in the past. What are you doing to deal with that now? I'm not saying forgive and forget. I ain't telling you forgive and forget nothing. What I'm saying is because I don't forgive and forget nothing. What I'm telling you is deal with it. How are you dealing with it? Why do you think some girls were molested as children and they get up and they thrive and they go and some women cannot move forward? With relationships, and I'm telling you, this will come. I'm telling you, if you have been sexually molested or touched or beat on or abused or anything like that, this is going to come up in your relationships. It's going to come up because it was probably somebody you knew or trusted. Guess what? This man gonna come in your life and he's gonna say he's the, you know, he's the one that rode in on the white horse and he's coming to save you, and you're gonna look at him like he is 10 times crazy because you don't trust him. But how did you deal with that? So how are you going to deal with it? What are you going to do with it here? Because it's living in here, so it's festering. The same way Kundalini rise up, well, that festering from your mind is going to go all the way down. It's going to make you sick from here all the way down.
Wow. That's amazing.
It is what it is. They have to do something. You have got to deal with it. A lot of our men have been abused as children, whether it's physically or
I hear
sexually,
a lot of stories of
whatever
that.
like that. But they're the ones that never deal with it. Neither women will cry about it. You know, they'll talk about it. They don't say a word.
You know what? And that's the thing with women that I can give y'all. Like, when women are going through things, another woman will pick up on that, and
say, hey,
she will
girl,
be
we
a
need to
listening
talk.
ear.
Yeah. We need to
Or
talk.
voice a reason to a degree for that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? As men, when we go through something emotionally, we don't, some that another man, we might think or, you know, feel that he went through, he can understand, but still, we've been taught as society, as men, yo, this and that.
You know, just like I
this
was
and that.
talking about.
Yo,
you know?
we don't reach out. Men don't communicate these things.
You know why? Because you were taught as little boys, suck it up, be a man. How you tell a 5-year-old to be a man? Be a man.
Right.
You tell them don't talk about nothing. So men don't talk to each other
Nope.
about pains. They don't talk to their mothers, so they ain't gonna learn how to talk to their wives.
There you go.
You know, there are some men who are fortunate enough to have female friends, and I'm not talking about anything going on, I'm talking about female friends. And they're fortunate enough to have a woman that they can sit down and talk to.
Right.
Get it off. But then they'll only give their confidence to one person. So they'll talk to their girlfriend, have a wife, don't say nothing to her. That happens a lot. And I'm like, you know what? These things need to be discussed. Get it out. And society is telling these men, don't say nothing. So you can, how do y'all act like if somebody come to you for real and they be like, yo man, I got a problem. Men be like, yeah, you be alright, yo. You be alright, son. You be alright.
Right.
Dude.
But
Yo,
that's
you know,
something I'm recently learning how to deal with. Like,
know?
I know some brothers is going through some things, right? And seeing my growth now, like when brothers come to me and they get to a point where you got to open up and let something out. Before a brother to come to me and talk, I used to be like, because that made me feel funny.
It made you.
It made me feel uncomfortable for another man to spill something from his heart that he was emotional about, or something that he was going through relationship wise, or some childhood wise, or some. Because you think about it, anything that you're going through always dates back to childhood.
It does.
You know what I'm saying?
It's a trigger.
It's a trigger. Childhood, yo, them first stages in your childhood determines how you gonna be in your adulthood. But it made me feel uncomfortable, and now today I can say I have more of a listening ear. I can tolerate it. I feel more comfortable listening to a brother break down. Like, I'm not always there because I don't want to hear no grown man cry.
Right, that's true.
I'm not being funny. This is something that has to come in time. You know what I'm saying? And I heard this before. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to remember, I'm also getting rid of the programming of society that was dumped off into me.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Not just dumped off into me. I'm talking about genetically passed on.
Right. That's true. It is
Genetically
DNA.
passed on. Talked about DNA that was genetically passed on. So the thing is, I'm not always there yet, but I see where I'm growing and I'm getting there where I actually could hear a brother out, let that brother get that off. If he got a vent, I know how to shut my mouth and let him get that off. If he asks me something, I know how to answer it to the best of my ability. If not, then I send that brother where he can get it. I don't know all. I'm not the beginning of the end of anything.
But I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I chewed his ears off. Because he was like, God, you can talk. I sure can, and I need you to listen. So I get to the point where I'm like talking. I'm like, I need to just tell you this. So now he gets to the point. He's like, look, I need to say something. I need you to listen. You know. So we have to have that time because sometimes he needs to vent. He needs to vent. So you know what? I let him vent. If somebody piss him off at work, he'll call me, yo, let me tell you what they did. All right, well, what did they say? What did they do? Tell me what happened. Okay, so that way by the time he's home, he good.
Yup.
And he can walk into the sanctuary in peace.
It's all energy. It's about how you use that energy. You just can't let it run wild. You know what I'm saying? It's about how you channel it, what you do with it. With me, I like to go to the gym and do things like that. It's about the energy, man. You can take that energy, whether good or bad. It's all about your perception, whether it's going to be good or bad, or positive or negative. The fact of the matter is, at its essence, is energy.
Right.
Just like the energy flowing through this house right now. You got multiple sockets in the house that are outlets for energy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's that Ashe. Same thing with Ashe. That's out there within the universe. You know what I'm saying? The you and I verse or the outer verse. You know what I'm saying? The same Ashe that's out there. You got many appliances of things that you can plug in and use for whatever. You know what I'm saying? So no matter if your perception is good or bad of it, you use it for whatever you need to use it for.
The human body got electricity in.
That's right. And guess what? Majority of that magnetic field of that energy comes from the heart.
That's why they use electricity to jumpstart it.
Right. Wow.
Understand?
That's right.
They use electricity to jumpstart it if anything goes wrong.
Right.
And we have to remember that. And you know, think of emotions as static electricity. It will stick to you, or if you touch something, it will shock you. Deal with that in the most delicate way you can. We all have emotions. We are under the impressions, because I was one of those women who was under the impression that men did not have emotions. Guess who taught me they have emotions? Right. And I was like, men don't have emotions. And he's looking at me like, are you crazy? I'm human.
Human. It come with the body, man. Man, you can sit up here and deny it all you want. You'll be a fool.
So the reason why we're telling you these things is because though we're the ones doing the video, guess what? Learning processes. We all have to go through learning processes. We're not saying we know everything. We're just trying to show y'all that, you know, wherever you're stuck at, I promise you stagnation does not last if you are willing to get out of it.
Stagnant energy is not good.
That's right.
Stagnant energy is supposed to flow. You're supposed to have it's a current.
It's a current.
It's supposed to be a flow. It's an ebb and a flow to it.
Flow.
It's a current. That's why we say money is currency. You know what I'm saying? You make money. It's an ebb and flow. You're supposed to spend money to receive money. You receive money to spend money. Currency is about the current.
Right.
Stagnated energy is not good because guess what? It sits there, and that's not good. Energy is supposed to flow.
Anything stagnant gets stale.
Right, there you go.
And that goes with your emotions. I don't care if you have anything going on with your family members, because it's not just about relationships. I love dealing with people with relationships, and you know, we can talk y'all through that. And the only reason why we can give advice is because we are not perfect people. Okay, we're not perfect people. We're just people, and we just get up and we live our lives daily. That's it. And we understand subconsciously that balance is something that we need to have. But even if you're dealing with family members, siblings, or anything like that, deal with these things. Children, you and your children can bump heads. You understand? Deal with that. Deal with that, because I'm telling you, we living in a time right now. If we don't pull it together, whoever cannot ride with us got to get out the car. But seriously, you still gotta have some passengers that you ride.
You know what? That's. I'm glad you said that about bumping heads. When you think about when the issues amongst us as a people, Asiatics, where we went wrong, is when the household was divided and that foundation of the household was cracked.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I say this all the time. If I can't govern myself, I can't govern my home.
That's true.
If I'm not good to my home, I'm not good to my community.
That's right.
If I'm not good to my community, I'm not good with my nation. And if I'm not good with my nation, I'm not good to humanity. So it always reflects back to me, keeping my emotions and my thoughts under control. Fathers, as men, like I say, society tells us to bottle our emotions in. And when we become fathers, and for those fortunate enough to have daughters, your daughter is you're the first love of your daughter. You're the first love of your daughter. And 10 times out of 10, she's going to go out and get a man just like her father. So, if you don't want your daughter going through no nonsense with some knucklehead dude, this and that, then that starts with you, father. You know what I'm saying? So, we have to break that chain of bottling in our emotions, but guess what? Because we're going to have to be able to open ourselves emotionally to our daughters. You know what I'm saying? I had to learn. Because I thought that because I had gotten in so much trouble as a youth, not being able to control my emotions, I felt like I would go through life without dealing with emotions at all. And that way I escape through life without having no trouble. That's not good.
And it ain't true.
That ain't good, because guess what? It ain't true, and it's still gonna sit there. And guess what? It's gonna sit there, and it's gonna build, and it's gonna build, and it's gonna build, and it's gonna build, and that pressure eventually busts that pipe, and it explodes out there. And when it explodes, it comes out as a force or rage. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that's with everybody, because some people, it might come out to the point where they
Well, you know what?
crying.
They might not explode. They might implode. You ever think of that?
Right, because you understand duality and polarity.
Yep, it's gonna come out one way or the other.
Right. You know what I'm saying? You got to understand duality and polarity with
See,
that.
the difference between exploding and imploding when it comes to emotions is when you're exploding, everybody around you has to deal with it. When you're imploding, you're breaking yourself down on the inside. Now you're sick.
Right.
Now you have sicknesses inside your body.
Right.
And you're killing your life force.
And it's based off stagnation of emotional energy. So you gotta learn how to release, learn how to let go, how to nullify. And one way you do this, right? I gotta give you a solution to that. Is it's good to do. Some people say prayer. I'm not talking prayer from an aspect of Christianity. I'm giving it from the aspect of an affirmation. That's what we say in the metaphysical field. Affirmations. It could be something you write out for yourself. It could be something that you can look up that you say every day. Because what you're doing is that vibration. It's that word that you're speaking out into the ethers that actually alters and changes things in your reality that goes on around you. You know what I'm saying? So affirmations, a prayer for those who still might be like towards the aspect of religion and Christianity who might come across this. A prayer, affirmations. What else we say? It's another one that we say. Something else we say. Not a chant, but what is it? Invocation. Invocation, right? To a certain deity.
And meditations.
Meditation. What is the thing that you had me doing with the Hindu deities? What is that called?
Those are different chants. They're still
Chants and
invocations,
right? Meditation. Meditation is key. Meditation is key to a lot of things. That's why a lot of problems can be fixed. You got to go within to fix those outside problems. You don't never change anything from the outside. Things are changed from within. You can never change nobody. That's another thing. Got to get out of thinking you could change somebody.
That too.
Not gonna happen.
Right.
you're only gonna cause more turmoil and strife. A person is gonna be what a person is gonna be. You're not gonna change no one. People change. The only thing that doesn't change is change itself. And I'm gonna leave on that note right there.
That's
You can't change nobody. People change at their own pace. They change at their own will because people have their own paths. And you have to learn to respect everybody else's path. If my path is this way and your path is that way, I can't get mad at you for taking your path. Don't get mad at me for taking my path. Because we all got the same destination. We just got different paths that we take to get there.
Detours.
Different detours to get there. You know what I'm saying? We all got our different adversaries or devils that we're going to encounter.
Crosses to bear.
We all got our own crosses to bear. You know what I'm saying? Animosities that we got to deal with.
Right.
Adversaries to deal with. You know what I'm saying? You need that. That's part of your growth. That's part of your how you're going to evolve. You know what I'm saying? It's not supposed to be easy. Life is not easy. It's not going to be easy. You need those roadblocks. You need those stumbles. You need those trials and tribulations. Because it's what builds your character. Not character from an ego aspect. I'm talking about from a spiritual aspect. You know what I'm saying? Because it's all about elevating your spirit. It's all about elevating your soul. Because we're all on borrowed time here. Remember that. Your own borrowed time.
Physically.
You're not going to be here physically forever. Not going to be here physically ever. So you got to make, what are you doing with your time? I throw that question out there. What are you doing with your time? One of my co-workers, 35-year-old, just passed away at 35.
Heart attack.
Cancer.
Cancer. Another stagnant energy.
Another stagnant
sickness.
energy. Cancer. Especially for those of you who might fall up under the sun sign of Cancer or moon sign of Cancer. Right? Be careful. Control that emotions because the moon deals with emotions.
And that's their planetary controller.
Right,
The moon.
and the moon and
that's
Cancer
the
is the moon is the planet of Cancer. The moon is the sign. I mean, Cancer is the sign of the moon.
That's right.
You got to be very, very careful.
And you gotta those with Cancer.
fall up under that
the
sign.
moon, you also have to be careful with illusions, whether you're giving them or receiving them, because that moon, when the moon tarot comes up, it talks about illusions, delusions, things not really being what they seem. You know, a little bit of trickery going on.
Right.
If that moon card ever pops up in the tarot card reading, you know, you need to talk about that.
Yeah, you got something you need to get off. It's
Or
something that
you need to get somebody away from
some
that's
emotionally and
deceiving
mentally,
you.
right?
Yeah.
Something you got to deal with, right? Get away from somebody deceiving you, because right now Cal gonna take me away.
Yeah, it's a deception thing.
Right. It's the magician that play on you.
Right.
Or you tricking yourself, or your mind is playing tricks on you, like the Ghetto Boy said. You know, so on that note, I ain't gonna hold everybody up. Closing words.
Just everybody, y'all, thank you for watching. Be blessed. Y'all have any questions, put them in the chat. We'll get to them later.
Oh, yeah.
And if you have anything that you want to say to us privately, inbox. We'll get to everybody's questions or anything like that. You know, you want to know about how to deal with your emotions and how to deal with the sicknesses and things like that. Let us know. How is it affecting you? Let us know. We'll do one-on-one with you, or we'll both talk to you and help you deal with it.
All right. On that note, I'm gonna say peace.
Peace.